Mary Chastain has a full-time job caring for her husband Charlie and brother-in-law Oscar.
I'm 78 and he's 89 and he's 90, you know, and we don't deserve this.
Both vets of World War II, the Chastain brothers know what it means to fight, but in their weaker days, it's Mary who's doing the fighting. Her enemy is the government shutdown. Mary isn't alone in the battle. In front of a memorial for those who gave everything for their country, the American Legion National Commander rallies his own troops.
It is an embarrassment to our nation. It is a cruelty to veterans and their families.
Offshore Monday, the 29th of October.
The spring weather's coming. You're going to start seeing the tornadoes through Tornado Alley and through the south. I just don't want to be in a position where we're not prepared. And so it's essential that we continue our quest to make sure that we have the monies available when necessary to make sure we take care of our veterans and their families.
Little 13, 14-year-old gal came in. And I was working with one of the Red Cross volunteers, and she comes in and she shyly says, "Ma'am, do you have a hairbrush? I haven't been able to brush my hair in 4 days." You know how important that is? To a 13, 14-year-old girl, to have a hairbrush, it hits right here.
This is another example of why the National Emergency Fund is so essential to our organization. The System Worth Saving program began approximately the same time the VA started hospital construction on projects in Las Vegas, Orlando, Denver, and New Orleans. As the congressional committee here today are keenly aware, all of those hospitals are coming in long overdue and hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. It shouldn't take a decade to build a hospital. The allegations of secret waiting list at Phoenix Department of Veterans Medical Center that are now being investigated, along with the 40 or more patient deaths, have rocked the veterans community. While we wait, officials in VA Central Office are preventing hospitals from being transparent during a crisis. While we wait, veteran suicides continue to plague our nation at a rate of 22 per day, with no clear strategy from VA on proactively addressing suicides. There needs to be a change, and that change needs to occur at the top.
Veterans groups have exploded in outrage. The American Legion has demanded Shinseki's resignation.
These are just unacceptable things that have come about that led us to this decision. Bonuses going to these failed leaders, the directors of these hospitals continue. Pittsburgh with the Legionella breakout in 2011. The director not only wasn't fired, he was given a $63,000 bonus, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars being given to these directors when they fail.
Well, we will see if Eric Shinseki survives.
The people who know him predicted he would do the right thing out of a sense of duty. Today, Shinseki stepped down.
What we're going to do at this particular location is set up a Veterans Crisis Command Center. And our staff is here, along with other people. And we're going to look at claims. If you need help with claims, we're going to look at enrollment issues. Can we get you enrolled in VA healthcare? We're going to look at that. But you know, we need to move beyond this scandal. And that's why we're here, to work together to do what we can to move this agenda forward and hopefully get the VA back on track in Phoenix and other locations for one particular purpose, so the veteran gets that health care that he or she deserves.
My fellow Legionnaires, Legion family members, and friends, Thomas Edison once said that there are three great essentials to achieve anything worthwhile. Our first, hard work; second, stick-to-itiveness; and third, common sense. I've noticed during my travels as National Commander that the American Legion has abundance of all three. When you elected me last year, I told you that the foundation of the American Legion is strong, and I still believe that. But while our four pillars are rock solid, some outside forces have been chipping away at that granite. You have heard plenty about the problems, no scandals, that have been epidemic throughout the Department of Veterans Affairs. It goes without saying there are many good people who work for the VA. In fact, the biggest abuses were exposed by brave VA employees who risked likely, and in some cases, proven retaliation by putting veterans ahead of their careers. It's impossible to gauge with certainty exactly how many veterans died while waiting for care, but we do know that at least 110 VA hospitals and clinics lied about how quickly they were treating veterans. The law of averages state that some who were waiting died because of the delays. One death because of a bureaucratic ineptitude is one too many. The American Legion was the first and only major veterans organization to call for leadership change at the top of the VA. We are criticized by some for acting too rashly or prematurely. Wait for the investigations to be completed, people in and outside the government told us. Other veterans groups would not join us in our call for change. But then report after report came out completely confirming our worst suspicions and reinforcing our stance. The system is broken. Now, we believe it is a system worth saving, and we have confidence that the new VA Secretary, now armed with fresh legislation backed by the American Legion, will help fix what was once the best health care system anywhere. Our demands are simple: access and accountability. Veterans have earned the right to quality health care and should be seen in a timely manner. When VA managers and employees fail to provide this access, they need to fix the problem or seek employment elsewhere. In cases of fraud or other crimes, they need to be prosecuted. Access also applies to the claims process as well. No veteran should have to wait 6, 9, in some cases several years to have a claim processed and settled. The American Legion is doing its part. Thousands of Legion service officers assist veterans with their disability claims free of charge and regardless of their membership in our organization. Moreover, your American Legion has been conducting town halls and organizing Veterans Crisis Command Centers in communities around the country to assist veterans and family members affected by long wait times for VA medical care and for benefits claims processing. I would like to read to you a message that our National VA Director sent to our Washington Executive Director from the Crisis Center in Phoenix on June 11th, and I quote, "All is well. We have helped 145 veterans with 4 hours left for today. Several have been service connected on the spot, and 2 more received 100% today. One veteran has been fighting for over 30 years. Veterans are still coming in. We have had a steady flow all day, staff is well and working hard," end quote. Similar success stories have occurred at our crisis centers in Fayetteville, Baltimore, El Paso, West Virginia, Colorado, and in Charlotte. Thousands have been helped. While the Legion will remain persistent and dedicated to making a system worthy of those it is intended to serve, we will remain equally dedicated to fulfilling the mandates of our other 3 pillars. Last fall, the United States government shut down. It went AWOL. Republicans, Democrats, the President, and Congress failed to do their job. The situation was eventually resolved, but it is no exaggeration to believe that veterans and the American Legion made the ultimate difference. No examples of shutdown travesties registered with the public like the images of World War II veterans being denied access to their memorial and military families being denied benefits after their loved ones made the supreme sacrifice in Afghanistan. I held press conferences at the World War II Memorial and at the Indiana War Memorial to remind the public that our elected politicians should never ignore the needs of those who are sacrificed to keep us free. Politics must never replace patriotism. Defending America is a constitutional responsibility that should be job one for any political office holder. And you cannot defend America without supporting the good people who have sworn an oath to do it. This is even more essential in a country with an all-volunteer service. We spend too little time on defense as it is, and sequestration is scheduled to return in fiscal year 2016. Friends, we are funding our military at pre-World War II levels as a group of mad terrorists run rampant throughout the Middle East, beheading innocent men, women, and children, including Americans. Secretary of Defense Hagel just called the Islamic State, quote, an intimate threat to every interest we have, whether it's in Iraq or anywhere else, unquote. And it's not just our enemies that can do us harm. Last year, 7 Marines were killed during a live fire exercise at Hawthorne Army Depot in Nevada. While the official investigation cited human error as a cause, it was also determined that the mortar section had not conducted appropriate preparatory training. Ladies and gentlemen, military officials from the Department of Defense on down have repeatedly warned that training and readiness would suffer because of sequestration. It is immoral to send improperly trained or ill-equipped troops into harm's way. Those who serve have taken an oath to sacrifice their lives if necessary, but it should not be because their leaders in Washington can't pass a sufficient budget. And if we spend trillions to fight wars and rebuild nations, we can spend billions to take care of those who did the heavy lifting. The American Legion won a great legislative victory earlier this year by restoring cuts to military pensions that were planned by Congress. However, this victory is incomplete. Future military members, including those who join this year, will see these benefit reductions. Does America really want to send a message to future veterans that their military service is less valuable than that of those who served in previous wars? I have one simple message to anyone who believes that military and veterans' benefits are too generous. The recruiter will see you now. As long as you don't mind grueling training, possibly getting shot or killed, long separations from your family, and uprooting your children from their schools every couple of years, a career in the military might be perfect for you. The American Legion exists to advocate for those who are willing to make these sacrifices. Several years ago, President Franklin Roosevelt signed what many historians and economists considered the greatest social legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress. If not for the American Legion, there would never have been a GI Bill. And it was due to our continued advocacy that the current generation of veterans once again has a GI Bill worthy of its name. Through programs like Operation Comfort Warriors, the Family Support Network, temporary financial assistance, the National Emergency Fund, the Legacy Scholarship, and our partnership with Soldiers Wish, we are having a great impact on thousands who have served and sacrificed for our great nation. The American Legion sponsors veterans' job fairs around the country. Last year, about 850 veterans found work because of these events. We understand and appreciate the skills and training required to succeed in the military. Not only is this a service to the veteran seeking a job, but it's a huge benefit to the employers that need good, dedicated, and smart workers. Most veterans will tell you that by helping their families, you are helping the veteran. Nobody understands this more than the American Legion Riders, who have had tremendous growth and success since they were founded 21 years ago. Between 2006 and 2013, They have raised more than $4.2 million in scholarship money as part of the Legacy Run. As you saw during this morning's presentation, the 2014 Legacy Run was another outstanding success. There were no shortages of small American flags displayed on motorcycles and by our parade delegations on Sunday. The American Legion knows that you cannot respect our veterans by disrespecting the symbol under which they fought. Tell your members of Congress to pass a constitutional amendment to protect the American flag now. We should also be concerned about our national sovereignty and what is occurring at our borders. If unaccompanied children can so easily enter the United States, what message does this send to Al-Qaeda and ISIS? It is inhumane to continue a policy that encourages children to risk violence and rape by human traffickers or death in the desert. If given the opportunity, hundreds of millions of people from the third world countries would love to live in the United States. We simply cannot afford this influx. Amnesty needs to be off the table. It is an election year, and I ask all of you to remember each of our 4 pillars when you cast your ballot. As an organization, we are nonpartisan, but that should never be mistaken as non-participants. Veterans have paid too high a price defending the right to vote for us not to exercise it. Voting for the American Legion values is good for America. Unfortunately, there are so many American values under attack, whether it be faith that is nurtured by military chaplains or the inclusion of a cross at a veterans memorial. Our nation needs the American Legion to remind us of the values that built this great country. I see these values being passed on to our younger generation, as epitomized by our youth champions who spoke to us this morning. But I have to ask, what would America be like if there was no longer an American Legion? Who would serve as role models, instilling traditional American values into the next generation? Who would advocate for the next generation of troops, just as we have for veterans since World War I? Who would be awarding National Emergency Fund grants, organizing community blood drives, and raising money for scholarships? This is why membership is so important. If the Legion wasn't here to defend the 4 pillars that have not only made our organization great, but have also made America great, who will? When a post is struggling with membership, we should not look for excuses, but instead find solutions. Our current membership eligibility window for the War on Terrorism extends back to the beginning of the Gulf War, August 2nd, 1990. That's 24 years and counting. Countless reserve and guard units have been activated during that period. We are in the middle of the longest membership eligibility period in the entire history of the American Legion. The eligible veterans are out there. We need just to sign them up. Just ask. We have a 5-year membership plan developed to help us accomplish our goals. It includes strategies such as creating brand awareness, communication, training and leadership development, post-development and revitalization, recruiting, and retention. Visit legion.org or call our membership division if you need more information about practicing these strategies. Contact our Media and Communications Division for a copy of the Membership Public Relations Guide. Most importantly, get out and ask people to join. When members of the media ask you about a dying or struggling American Legion post, point out that there are more Legion posts in the American Legion than there are Starbucks coffee houses. There are also more American Legion posts than there are McDonald's in America. So those are two good examples. Nobody will join the American Legion out of pity. We must maintain a positive outlook. It's up to all of us to give them a reason to join. In fact, I can think of 4 good reasons: a strong national defense, Veterans Affairs, youth, and Americanism. I would like to thank the Department of Virginia for their unwavering support over the years for me. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for the warm hospitality extended to my wife, Margaret, my aide, Bob, and myself during our travels this year. All I can say is, it's been quite a ride. May God bless you all, God bless our troops everywhere, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.